After what was an entertaining race last week at Canadian Tire, we are here for the second round of the Endurance for Beginners series, sponsored by Here for SR. And what we see here tonight is going to be very interesting, as we are here at the world famous Silverstone circuit for the second round. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for making us a part of your evening, and welcome to ESPN. My name is Sam Cooper Bennett here in the booth for you for this second round, and joining me once again is the man in his truck just outside the NASCAR Hall of Fame, apparently, and he's here with me tonight, Byron Rodney. Welcome to the show.
Sam, glad to be back here. We saw an excellent race last week with this league. I'm looking for better entertainment here at Silverstone. As everyone can tell by the accent that you're carrying, this is your home track pretty much. You know this track inside and out, and we're going to be class racing GTEs, GT3s as qualifying, getting ready to come up here. The guy that was on the top, in Stephen Thompson, I'm looking in practice, man, he was laying it down last week, but I'm looking at him now with Bryce Anderson and Brad McCombs in the GTE class have posted faster practice times. This is going to be an interesting race. This track is very technical, very fast, and these guys don't have much banking. They're going to have to be on their game for 1 hour and 20 minutes of endurance racing.
That's absolutely true, and Stephen Thompson looking for redemption here tonight at Silverstone after a connection issue dropped him out of contention and out of the race lead, unfortunately, and looking for a better one here tonight. Qualifying about to start here at Silverstone, and yeah, like you said, Bryce Anderson and Brad McCombs at the top. Bryce Anderson picking up the overall win last week. Can he do the same this time around? He's looking in good shape for it. But a big hello to everybody in the live chat right now. We have a ton of people watching us on YouTube, so thank you for making us a part of your evening. And yeah, if you want to got people getting their picks in already. Let's see who's going to come out on top, and just cheer for your favorite driver. I know you're looking forward to seeing this one as we go down to the track right now and get ready for this one. And it's going to be Lane Fowler. That's going to be the first one out of track in the GT3 class. I apologize.
Yeah, they got 10 minutes to go out there and lay down 2 laps. So you get an out lap, and then you go for your first lap, and then you go for your second. If you feel you didn't get everything that you could get on that first one, these guys are going to be tearing the track up at qualifying, and interesting to see how the board's going to shake out. We have a big field tonight, a little larger than we had last week, and this league is growing, and I can't wait to see what the further weeks bring us, because this has been some phenomenal racing from these guys.
That it has, and we're hoping to see the same again tonight. But this is Lane Fowler, I believe, making his debut here tonight. I don't think we saw him last week at Canadian Tire, so the man in the DRG Lamborghini gonna start his qualifying run just on his out lap right now as he runs through the old start-finish section of Silverstone right now.
Yep, now I'm taking a look at Mark Dillon. He's out there in the GTE class. Beautiful paint job on that car. I'm a big fan of what he did with the paint job on that car.
Yeah, looking very tidy in that Jack Daniels scheme, and he's going to be looking for a better result as well. Obviously, he finished third. Finished fourth last week, actually. Did he finish? Yeah, he finished third in GT last week. My brain is just letting me down right now. As he had a bit of an incident at the end there involving himself, and I believe it was Jesse Brannon who got it all wrong in the final corner there. Really massive heartbreak for the man in the 3 last week.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, I'm such a big fan of this league. Mark Dillon put something really good together. I'm going to have a conversation with Mark Dillon, because I noticed that we're going to Spa on the 19th of May. I'm going to have to talk to Mark Dillon that there might have to be an ESPN guest commentator behind the wheel in a Corvette running with these guys on that track at Spa. We know how much I love that track, but right now tonight it's all about Silverstone.
Absolutely, as we're looking at Mark Dillon just crossing the line there, starting his qualifying run. Let's go back to Lane Fowler, who will be the first driver to cross the line as he comes out of the tight left-hander. We're going to go on board with Lane Fowler, actually, as we see where we are on the track, and me being British and this being my home track. well, one of my home tracks, because we've got plenty on the iRacing service. I will tell you where we are as we're going through the final 2 corners of the old layout. Now this is woodcut, and then out of this one is coming down the start finish straight for the old layout, as this one not used very often, only usually for national and club racing now, this start finish straight. So good to see as we make for the go through Cops for the first time under Anger, and he's going to take a very wide line. Go take as much curb as you want, but don't go too far out. It will cost you a off track as we go through Maggots and Beckett's. Now be very aggressive, but be very cautious through here at the same time. Coming through the left-hander, right-hander, now left-hander, now another right-hander out of Beckett's, and then this is where you need to use your speed carefully as it comes out of that section and down the hanger straight now towards Stowe Corner, and this is where you need to build up that speed and pick your lines carefully. If you're in a battle, try and get that inside line as early as possible, because Stowe, very unpredictable corner, as you can see right here. Even with the new configuration, very unusual is Stowe Corner as we come through the final section onto the new section of the tracks. This is a Club Corner coming through here now, and this long right-hander now coming round the final bend now, and Fowler will complete the first lap of the night in qualifying, and he will go to the top of the board, but let's see if anybody can beat him at this point.
Yeah, Fowler putting that up there.
Actually, I don't think he got a time in.
He didn't get a time in. Now, here's the thing about iRacing. Track limits are a real thing. You can get up and use as much curb as you want, but if you get those other tires, that full set of tires off the curb, it tells you that you are off track. And during qualifying, if you pick up an off track, your time for that lap is disallowed. It will not score you a time on that lap. So Lane Fowler's having to take another shot at it and be more conscious of those track limits as he's looking to lay down a time. Right now, pole position, fastest time for the GT3 class is a 2 minute 1 second. 2:01.074 is the mark to beat for GT3. GTE, Dennis Diaz put that thing in the win with a 1:55.828. That is a heck of a lap for GTE class.
Yeah, as we're looking at Stephen Thompson just making his way out through the new part of the section onto the old one now as he comes towards the old start finish straight now. And again, this is a man looking for redemption. He's already put in a time only good enough for P5 right now, so kind of needs to pick up the pace. And on this lap, gets a bit of a tail happy through the right-hander here, and not going to be happy with that one. But Hunter McRoby in the number 62 machine, currently setting a purple sector in the middle sector, looking to improve on that as he comes down towards the final sector. Can he get that pole position as well? As McRoby is making his debut here as well tonight. Looking forward to see what he can do. But at the moment, he's doing all the right things as he's looking very fast coming through the final sector now. Does he improve? He goes up to P2 with a 55.870.
Yeah, and Stephen Thompson, his next lap that he ran before we went away from him, his first lap was a 156.932. He ran a 156.933 on that other lap.
Absolutely, as he comes through the final part of this track again onto the new section once again into the final section. The right-hander down through this right-hander, the long right-hander through the final turn. Let's see if this can be an improvement for Stephen Thompson as he comes across the line and goes up to P3, replacing Michael Ogren and Grant Yingling. Let's take a look at one of the GT3 drivers. That is Fernando de Oliveira out on track right now, and he is just set a green section, so not doing too badly in that number 15 machine. Number 16, sorry.
No, he's out there giving it all he's got, doing everything he can. Trying to find him on here. Guys are putting in some fast laps for the GTE class. I'm 155.826 here. I don't know if I could even hold water with that.
Not
personally.
At all. as De Oliveira just comes out of the final turn now. Let's see what this can be. A 2-minute 9.74. That will not be an improvement. Sorry, actually, that was actually Cop's time, who's on pole right now. As actually, I don't think De Oliveira got a time in there. So unfortunate there. He's going to have to try again as he gets it all wrong and smacks into the barrier.
Oh,
big
into the
hit
barrier.
for De
That's
Oliveira.
going to be a tow.
Very much so, and that might be his qualifying over. Here is last week's winner, Bryce Anderson. Now, he's a driver. He drove a Corvette last week, rocking the Porsche this time around here, Byron. Going to be interested to see how we can handle this new machinery this time around.
You know what? Every different car, you know, there's Porsches, there's Corvettes. We got BMWs, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. We got multiple cars you can choose from to run, but each car has its own handling characteristics. And if Bryce Anderson's running the Porsche here at Silverstone, he likes the way it handles Silverstone here better than the Corvette would do it.
Absolutely, as Anderson goes straight to the pole here at 1:55.568, and that is almost 0.3 of a second faster than Dennis Diaz. Great time there for Bryce Anderson as he puts it on the pole. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. Can he transfer that over to the races? We go back to Fernando Oliveira, who I believe is just doing a little pace lap around here before his qualifying's over.
Yeah, getting a little bit more practice in, you know, trying to figure the track. These guys, you know, they put in a lot of time practicing privately. They put up hosts and servers that they get in there and practice and work on. Road courses are a tough track to learn. You've got to learn all these corners. You got to know where the next corner is, and you want to be able to set yourself up, especially when you go through those switchbacks. You need to get it. As he gets it wrong again, he looks like he might have some issues on that corner.
Yeah, he does, and that will do it for Oliveira's qualifying, unfortunately, as qualifying is about to come to an end here. Only 10 minutes in qualifying as Bryce Anderson is back out. It's still out on track, actually, just turning a couple more laps. I think he did this last week as well, just carrying on out of track until the qualifying session is over, just to get those get a little bit more practice in before this is the race starts. As there we go.
Yeah. Race is going to be getting ready to start. We're going to be setting the grid here. GTEs are going to start up front, followed by the group of GT3 cars because they run a little slower. And we're going to be last week. It was what 10 minutes before, and we were seeing overtaking already in classes. How far do you think we're going to go here at Silverstone?
We don't know, but we'll find out now as we go to the grid for tonight's race. And starting up on the pole will be Bryce Anderson, last week's winner. Starting up at the front where he finished last week. Dennis Diaz will be starting on the front row alongside him in GTE. To Hunter McRoby and Stephen Thompson make up row 2. Row 3 will be Michael Ogren and Grant Yingling. Row 4 will be Brad McCombs and Paul Boyle. Row 5 will be Mark Dillon Jr. and Jesse Brandon. Colin Tabor and Connor Daly will make up row 6 with... And row 7 will be Jacob Falcon and Kyle Payne, Byron.
Yep, that's your GTE class. GT3s are going to line up like this. Lynn Kopp taking the first spot with that 2-minute lap. Carter McComb, he's going to start on his outside elbow. Roiking up row 2 will be Sean Atkins and Benjamin Mather. Adam Smith and Marcus Osborne making up the next row, followed by Lane Fowler, Tony Watson, Fernando De Oliveira. He didn't have a really good qualifying run. He had some issues on that one corner. Dave Ferreira, Zachary Newberger, and Timothy Emanuel are going to start shotgun on this field. He's got a bit of work to do, but you know what? It's an endurance race. It's not about being the fastest car on the track. It's all about being consistent, because we saw things can change as we did see it last week.
Absolutely, as we look at the grid for tonight's race, and it's going to be a very interesting race to see who could come out on top this time. Bryce Anderson was the winner last week at Canadian Tire. Stephen Thompson, like I said, will be looking for redemption this week after that connection issue cost him the race. And who's going to come out on top in GT3? That's going to be an interesting one. Lynn Kopp is looking very, very fast this time around. Last week's winner, Tony Watson, is pretty far down the field. He's down in P21, but will be looking to move his way forward as quick as possible. But as the field starts rolling, we are ready to go. Remember, there is about a 6-second difference between GT and GT3 peeling off, as GT3 actually start rolling at the same time as GTE. Actually, there they are, just slowly pacing around as the GTEs just go on ahead as we are ready to go racing once again. And here we go for the race here at Silverstone as they come through the final corner, and we are racing for GTE at Silverstone, and it's going to be Bryce Anderson leading them down to the first corner right now, and already some spaces, they're already spacing out here.
Yeah, but don't look now. Hunter McRoby all over the back of Denny's Diaz. He's just looking to get underneath him to get in that corner, as he does right there. Makes his move, gets the inside line, but Denny's has that outside, inside line the next time, tries to make the crossover. These guys are throwing hammer blows already for second place.
Yeah, we've had an issue already for Connor Daly going off in the first corner. Not the best start he wanted here tonight, as he's already on the back foot as we go back to the leaders right here. Bryce Anderson already trying to get away. Dennis Diaz in second. Hunter McRoby is in third. As
Stephen Thompson making a charge, coming up in fourth.
Yep, as right behind him is Michael Ogren. There's Grant Yingling, Bragg McCombs, Paul Boyle, and Mark Dillon Jr. falling back to P9 in that Jack Daniels car, so not a good start for him. We've had incidents already. Connor Daly is out. Dave Ferrara has had an incident already in that number 25, that number 26 machine. He's back there already as we go back to the lead pack here, and that's Dennis Diaz in trouble. He's already fallen back to P5, so a bad start for the BMW driver.
Yeah, just getting it a little wrong on those corners. These guys are starting to get these corners sorted out, as Dennis Diaz is really dropping back, wondering what happened to the car.
Yeah, as we're going to look at what happened to Jacob Falcon here. Got it all wrong through cops here and just lost it and went off into the tyre barrier. Not a good debut for Falcon here in this one, as we go back to the ailing BMW of Dennis Diaz, just falling backwards through the field, and he's got Mark Dillon Jr. right on his tail as they come through the final section of this track. Now let's go back to GT3 now, as we've got a battle for these guys as well, as that is a battle between Lynn Kopp. Actually, Lynn Kopp is right behind
Carter McCollum got around him.
McCollum, yeah, that's Carter McCollum in the lead. I do apologize. So McCollum in the lead now after getting around Lynn Kopp on the start. And look at the gap between Kopp and Mather. Mather is actually in third, but way off the pace of Kopp right now, as he's got a plethora of other GT3 cars behind him.
Yeah, McCollum really impressed me. We didn't see him last week. He's new driver into the league. This is his first race with him. I love the livery on that car. I'm wondering if he is a Gasly fan, as he's rocking the AlphaTauri colors.
And he's got the number 10 on his car as well, so that is a pretty good combination there for him. But Mather is in third. Right behind him is Marcus Osborne, who had a difficult race last week in the Reese's BMW. He's already making the challenge on Mather as he comes around the outside. Is he going to get it done coming in towards the final chicane section? Going to dive it in there. Big move there by Osborne, and around goes Smith in the turn racing Mercedes, and he's got damage on the front of that number 88 already.
Yeah, he was the recipient of bad luck award right there. Nothing he did wrong. He just had a car drift up on him after it had to get on the binders real hard, and he just loses some spots and falls back.
Yeah, and it was Mather that actually got into the side of him as well that caused that damage as well. So unfortunately for him, we've got a problem for Timothy Emanuele as well, as he's got an extremely damaged car, and more problems for the Mercedes driver. He's just not had a good start to this one, as we continue on now, and Bryce Anderson out to a 3-second lead already over Stephen Thompson, who's in second. Look at the battle for third. Grant Yingling and Hunter McRoby getting into it, as well as actually right behind him. I don't see who that was. I think that was that is McRoby, and there's another GTE car right there. I didn't quite see who that was. I believe that is the Porsche of, is it Colin Tabor? No, it's not Colin Tabor. Colin Tabor's looking very nice in that car right now. We're just
Connor Daly's driving like he got a parachute popped out behind the car.
That's who it was.
Yeah, he got shuffled back really bad. Gathered it back up. Now he's got a little bit of space in there to work the track as he's coming up on the Lightning McQueen paint job. I love that car.
Absolutely.
It's got a 95 on it. My timing and scoring shows me it's the 26 machine, but that's a 95 out there.
Especially the 23. He does have the number 23 on his car. It's just the 95 as part of the paint scheme, so it is what it is. But that is Grant McCombs there in there. As we've got more incidents going on. As last week's winner involved as well, Tony Watson involved. Let's take a look and see what happened to Watson. And it was De Oliveira right in front of him. Let's see what's occurred here. And it's coming through the final section, and Watson just gets it all wrong. And thankfully, does not hit anything and carries on his own merry way. Good recovery there by Watson as we go back to Brad McCombs there, and he's got Dennis Diaz is recovering, and Michael Ogren, who had a good start and started on the pole last week, just had a terrible race altogether, just ahead of Dennis Diaz there in the last spot in the top 5.
Yeah, and they're working on the back. Dennis Diaz is working all over the back of Michael Ogren right now. Denny's is just waiting for Michael to make that mistake. Now remember, we've been talking about it. It's endurance racing. You don't got to be the fastest car, but you want to be the most consistent. And consistency will pay off. But when you get up to the rear bumper of someone and start putting a little bit of pressure on them, not tapping them and not getting close to them, you're making that driver start to look in his rearview mirror and pay more attention to that than he does the windshield. And that's where that driver in front can overdrive a corner, miss a braking zone. And once he makes that little bit of a mistake by having the pressure applied, that's when the car behind is going to make that overtake move. And right now, we're watching Michael Ogren all over him, getting ready, Dennis Diaz trying to make that move on Ogren.
Yeah, and just ahead of
Brian McCollum has joined that battle as well.
Yeah, he was already part of that battle. He was just hanging on the back of it. As just ahead of him is Hunter McRoby trying to get around Grant Yingling. Yingling just ahead of him in the other Corvette right there. Yingling had a good start as well last week. Just did not have the best of races either. But it's at the moment, the two out front are the two fastest drivers right now. And that is Bryce Hannon and Stephen Thompson. Let's go back again to GT3 as we've had a change for the leader. We might have it back again as Lynn Cobb gets it all wrong through the final section, and McCollum might come back at him here in that Mercedes as they come through the final sector of the old section, down through the old start-finish straight. And McCollum might have a run here coming towards Cops here, Byron.
Yeah, McCollum, he's looking for that draft off the back end of that car. He does dip it to make his move, but he backs out of it wisely into the braking zone. Did not want to get into the rear of him and end their night early, but he is all over the tail, applying that pressure, like I said, making Lynn Kopp drive with the rear view mirror more than he is the windshield.
Yeah, and they've completely dropped Osborne, who's in third place now as in the GT3 class. And just had a question in the chat: how do you all determine what a beginner is? Now, this is how they determine what a beginner is for this league. The specifications of what you need to be entered into this race. You must have an I rating of less than 2,000. You can have they will let any person with any SR class join, but the main objective, the main requirement to be in this league is to have an I rating of less than 2,000. So that is the only requirement. You can run any car you want as long as you're committed to a certain class. If you're in GTE, you can run any of the GTE cars available. If you're in GT3, you can run any of the GT3 cars available. So that is the rules of this league. And it's you know what? Those are rules that I actually agree with. You can actually pick your poison, but as long as your I rating is below 2,000, you're okay to run it as long as you want.
Yeah, and let's talk about what is I rating. I rating is what iRacing uses to basically score your ability. You gain I rating by running in the iRacing official races, or you lose I rating, and it's based on you're grouped with guys of similar ability, of similar I ratings. And if you're in a group of, say, 23 cars, if you're starting in 22nd and you finish in, say, 8, you're going to gain I rating. If you finish towards the front, you're going to gain I rating. If you start in the race and you finish poorly, then you lose I rating. And that's how they gauge your ability with your I rating. It is actually the way they have the algorithm figured out, a very accurate tell of the racer's ability, and group them together. To have a group of guys below 2,000 I rating put on their show like they do here, it looks like these drivers have got Silverstone kind of dialed and figured out. As I'm looking at McCollum, he got around Lynn Kopp in that Mercedes, and he's starting to leg out some distance on him.
Absolutely, as I was also looking at a battle between Grant Yingling and Hunter McRoby, and they are very close in the two Corvettes right here as they come through this right-hander right now. And it's at the moment Yingling in control, but McRoby definitely wants that position ahead as we've got it.
Here comes the move.
Yeah, round the inside there. He got the inside line coming down the hanger straight now, and he's had to back off there. Didn't quite have the speed there as Yingling able to hold on just for now. You can see just in the background there, Dennis Diaz is starting to close that gap between those two as well.
Well, as long as these two are battling, Dennis Diaz is loving it, because these two guys, the lead car having to block the car behind. And now I'm talking about Yingling having to block McRoby. Dennis Diaz is free to run his racing line the way he wants. So he's going to turn a faster lap. He's going to catch these guys and make himself a story for the third position.
Absolutely. So that's Dennis Diaz there. We've had a problem for Carl Payne right now, and he's the last driver running in the GTE class. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened to the man in the 68. Just got it all wrong there, and we pointed out just before the broadcast started, he's a man that's having a bit of a baptism of fire here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Charles Boschel has... I didn't see him take the green, but he just... I was looking to see who had parked it already, and Jacob Falcon has already called it a night and put it on the hauler.
Yeah, and Connor Daly has as well, unfortunately, so he is out of this race too. Oh no, he
no,
hasn't.
Connor
He's still
Daly's
right there.
on track.
So Jacob Falcon is the only retirement so far. I apologise. As we're looking at the two DRG Lamborghinis go at it, that's Lane Fowler and Benjamin Mathery Fowler going ahead of his teammate right there.
Now we're going to have to reach out to Benjamin. Is that pronounced Mather or is it Mathery? Or I do not want to be on the receiving end of a kick to the ding ding when he gets on us for getting his name all wrong. Someone let us know.
Yeah, I wonder if someone in the chat can tell us that, whoever knows him and can tell us the correct pronunciation. We had that on Sunday when we were getting people's names wrong, and hopefully that doesn't happen again. Let's take a look at Stephen Thompson now, just running a solid race there in second place, though, but not really on the pace of Bryce Anderson, who's absolutely running away with it so far. Anderson now up to a 4-second lead over Thompson, as those two are just absolutely running away from Hunter McRoby now, who does have that third place away from Grant Yingling finally.
Yeah, but don't worry, don't worry about that 4-second lead, because within the next few laps, Bryce Anderson's going to have to start working lap traffic in the GT3 class. He's going to be coming up. He's running laps at about 1:56. Well, he's about 30 seconds behind the last car in the GT3 class, and he's going to have to start doing some overtaking, and that can narrow that gap up, because he's going to have to pick his spots of where he makes his move, because he doesn't want to put himself in jeopardy. We don't want to see something like we saw last week, where the guys got all the way to the final lap and an incident just shuffled the leaderboard, and we were talking to different people on the podium.
Yeah, going back to Mathery, he's in a battle. Oh, he's had a bit of an off there as Mathery, and that has let De Oliveira and Watson go by. Watson recovering obviously from that incident he had earlier. He is currently sitting in P6 in class right now. Mathery falling backwards now. Sean Atkins in the Ferrari right behind him. Nice new paint scheme, a Marines paint scheme on Sean Atkins' car. Very nice, and he's actually driving the Lamborghini this week. I apologize, not the Ferrari.
Yes, the Lamborghini seems to handle the Silverstone very well. Silverstone, a flat track in the corners. It's a very technical track. I'm not as familiar with Silverstone as you are. The last time I think I was at Silverstone, we ran a charity event, a memorial race, and we used the Legacy layout for a famous announcer.
That we did, as that was a few weeks ago. We paid tribute to the late great Murray Walker, who passed away almost a month ago now, so that's gone pretty quickly, as we're looking at Tony Watson right on the back of Fernando de Oliveira, and there is a close battle there for 5th in class now, as this GT3 field is a lot more bunched. It's like a turning of the tables somewhat for the for this field, because last week the GT3s were all spread out and the GTEs were battling amongst each other. This week it's the GT3s that are all bunched together and the GTEs are all spread out now.
Yeah, we have a couple of close battles in there. I'm looking at Brad McCombs and Ogden. Closest battle I'm seeing in GTE. Brad McCombs rocking that Lightning McQueen paint scheme. Looks like to be all over the back of Ogden, but he just doesn't have the oomph to get it done.
Yeah, as we've got a problem for Timothy Emanuele, let's take a look and see what happened to the man in the 39. More trouble in that Mercedes. He's already been lapped by Bryce Anderson and just got it all wrong coming out of Stowe. And just literally parted right there. He got it going once again, but another scary moment there for Emanuele, as Adam Smith, I believe, is in pit road as well. He's had more troubles in that Mercedes.
That battle we were talking about in GTE class between
Ogren and McCombs.
McCombs getting around or trying to get around Ogren. That battle's gotten real tight for the 5th position.
Absolutely, as
6th position, sorry.
Ogren just desperately trying to stay away. I'm noticing Diaz is closing in on the back of Grant Yingling as well. We'll go to that in just a second, but this one is a closer battle right now. We're seeing a battle in GT3 as well, as they're jumping all over the place. I'm apologizing for the...
Oliveira getting around Lynn Fowler. Or no, Watson getting around the Oliveira. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, as Jesse Brannon's had an incident there, and wow, that is a very psychedelic paint scheme. That's going to mess with your eyes a bit.
I love the attention that this league has put into their liveries on these cars. These guys have really stepped up their paint jobs and come out with some creative things, come out with some commemorative things. I'm falling in love. I just can't get enough of that Jack Daniels paint job.
Yeah, it's very good. That just take a look at Jesse Brannon's paint scheme and tell me if that messes with your eyes or not. Anyway, as Tony Watson now is ahead of Fernando de Oliveira, and he's chasing down Lane Fowler. Oliveira now is under pressure from Benjamin Mathery, as behind him is Sean Atkins. Zachary Nürnberger's had a few issues already tonight, and we will go on board with Nürnberger as he's coming down the first straight of the circuit. And always rocking that nice paint scheme he's got. He had that last week. He's decided he wants to run that again this week. Very good, as we've got a problem there. Brad McCombs and Michael Ogren have had an incident here, and let's go back and take a look at it. Big incident there coming out of the final corner, and big crash between the two. Ogren going sideways, and it's a T-bone moment, and they both get it going again, but that is a scary moment for both Ogren and McCombs right there.
Yeah, it looked like McCombs just went ahead into full send mode and just couldn't hold it down on that bottom line, drifted up into the side. And yeah, but hats off to both drivers gathering it up as quick as they did, and back on the loud pedal as quick as they can. And Ogren has started to take a little bit more time out on the track over McCombs, but McCombs isn't giving up.
Well, I can definitely tell that Ogren's going to have to use a fast repair once he makes it to pit road. That is definitely true, as he's getting away from Brad McCombs, as that smile on the front of his car, probably not smiling so much right now, as he's now got Colin Tabor right on his tail. And Tabor, I believe, was running a Porsche last week. It's he's gone the opposite way to everybody else, as he's now rocking a BMW, as everybody else has decided to run a Porsche. So Tabor making his way forward, is up into P9. Paul Boyle in P10 in the other BMW, the Peroni one, and Jesse Brandon, who's had a few issues this evening, the 11th place driver in GT. Let's go back to GT3 as Carter McCollman, and I don't know what that camera angle is, but anyway, he's got away from Lynn Kopp now, and Kopp is still quite a ways ahead of Marcus Osborne, who himself has got away from the rest of the GT3 class.
Yeah, GT3 is starting to stretch it out a little bit, but Lane Fowler and Tony Watson, we got a battle going on for the fourth position in GTE, or GT3, sorry.
Absolutely, as that is Fowler just coming through cops there just ahead of Watson. We've had an issue for Colin Tabor just after spoken about him. Let's see if we can find out what happened. We see Osborne going off there through the final section of this track, and we don't know what's happened to Colin Tabor because iRacing won't let me, so that's a shame. There is Colin Tabor, so I'm not sure what happened to him as we go back to the battle between Fowler and Watson. And Watson not showing the pace he did last week at Canadian Tire, but still staying up there regardless as he looks to the inside going in towards Stowe corner, and Tony Watson will take away that fourth position from Lane Fowler. Good move there by the Lamborghini driver.
Yeah, and I noticed Lane Fowler, it looked like he just went ahead and swung wide and gave him that position. But don't look now, D'Oliveira's all over the back of Watson, wondering if Watson's tires are starting to go away from him. I don't know what the tire wear is going to be like. Last week we saw the tire wear. Guys were able to double stint the tires and run the whole 120 or hour and 20 minutes on one set of tires. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here at Silverstone with a flatter track and tighter corners.
I want to see if Stephen Thompson's left another cheat sheet like he did last week. I don't think he did. But definitely going to go a long way into this race. They went about 60 laps last week. Probably going to do the same this week as we're still looking at D'Oliveira trying to get a close in on Lane Fowler. As we've had an incident for Adam Smith, who's not had a happy race yet so far tonight. As he's had another incident coming out of the hairpin and just goes off track, and not a happy night for Adam Smith at all.
No, having a tough time with Silverstone. Silverstone is a lot different track than Canadian Tire. Let me tell you, these guys, we heard it when we talked to them on podium finishes last week. They had concerns about Silverstone. I remember when we were talking with, wasn't it Bryce Anderson, said this was not his favorite track, but look at him fly out there in that GTE class, leading the field out overall.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty hefty lead. Well, he's got a decent lead over Stephen Thompson, who's 4 seconds back there. You see him just coming out through the old section of the track, right? Not too far behind him is Hunter McRoby, though. He's got away from actually Grant Yingling and has actually just been passed by Dennis Diaz, who's now up to P4. And Diaz looking very, very fast now in that 420 BMW.
Yep, Dennis Diaz, as long as he's not got someone that he's got to give up his racing line for, he does what I call hold a pretty wheel. He's running clean lines around this track, not going too far off over the curbs, getting as much speed as he can. And remember, it's road course racing. You've got to use one corner to set up the next corner. After a long straight, you know where you want to be. You hit that apex. But when you've got a double corner right behind it, you need to set yourself up for corner exit for all the speed you can get. And Dennis Diaz looks like he's doing it because he is catching up to the back of Hunter McRoby.
Yeah, and there is McRoby just coming through the final section of the track and completes another lap here. We are only 23 minutes left into this race, so definitely a lot of time left, just under an hour left in this race, and everybody getting spread out. But again, we saw it last week here, Byron. It doesn't matter how far you're ahead of the person you are. It's all about whether you can keep it on that grey stuff and whether you can make it through the pit stops that counts here tonight.
Yep, and pit strategy. I'm wondering, are they going to take tires? Are they going to do fuel only? We saw no tire strategies going on last week at Canadian Tire. I seriously don't know if you're going to be able to do it here at Silverstone. I also, what's a fuel run in these cars look like here at Silverstone? Sam, are we going to see 30 laps before we see green flag stops? Or
well, we already talked about that, and I said I didn't know, so.
I'm just trying to remember from the last time we actually ran Silverstone.
Last time we ran Silverstone was in IndyCars, so it was a bit different. So we don't know.
Well, I ran IMSA the last time in Silverstone. I'm just trying to remember. I want to say it was close to 30 laps that we ran this. But taking a look back at the front of the field, Bryce Anderson holding a pretty wheel, got a pretty straight up racing line, as the next one up on his hit list is going to be a GT3 car of Zachary Nürnberger. Oh, he got around Zachary Nürnberger. Sean Adkins is going to be the next one. Sean goes off track.
There he does, yeah. Big incident there for Sean Adkins, and unfortunately he's going to have to, relinquish a lap at least, as there goes Stephen Thompson as well. So Adkins in trouble. Nürnberger in pit road, so we do have pit stops going underway, as there is Nürnberger into pit lane, as we've had a problem for Lane Fowler, who's had a crash here. Let's take a look and see what's happened to him. Coming through Cops right now. Actually, that's coming through Stowe. And a big off there for Lane Fowler, and that is a very, very damaged DRG Lamborghini right there.
Yeah, he'll have to use that fast repair. Looked like he just got it too far up on the curving, got the car really unsettled, and the rear end got loose and come around. And, you hear us talk about a tight car and a loose car. Well, when it comes to hitting the wall, if you hit it with the front of your car, you're tight because it didn't want to turn. If you hit it with the back of your car, it's called loose. The rear end wants to come around, swap ends, and that's exactly what you just saw.
And that was through the first couple of corners of the track. I apologize, it wasn't through Stowers. There is Bryce Anderson looking to put a lap on him right there, and yeah, that is a very broken Lamborghini right there, and gonna have to bring it to pit road and get a fast repair, unfortunately, as we are 26 minutes into this one, and already drivers getting lapped. We've already had Nürnberger in pit road. Is actually back out of pit road again now, so he could only make it 26 minutes before he had to bring it in again. Probably had something off with his car. He did have an off track earlier, so I wonder if that might have been a issue there, as we're seeing the battles resumed here between Michael Ogren and Brad McCombs here as they come through Cops Corner.
Yeah, McCombs all over the back of Ogren. He's making Ogren. He's decided, to stop just riding and put a little pressure on him, as he's going to try to cause him to start driving out of that rear view mirror, especially when he gets to the technical part of the track right here. You want to have your attention focused forward. You want to be spotting your entry to the next corner, but having a guy right up on your tail makes you take your eyes off of that, and all it takes is a little lapse of concentration, as we see McCombs going for the move right here.
Down the hanger straight in towards Stowe, and McCombs is going to get it done right here, and it doesn't look like McCombs has got as much damage as Ogren, because Ogren, because of that damage on the right side of his car, not able to defend very well. So Ogren having to give that up. McCombs moving his way up to P7, and now they are closing in on Mark Dillon Jr., who seems to be struggling for pace at this early stage of the race.
Yeah, like I said, when we talk to him, we're gonna have to talk about tire wear, because I'm seeing the guys are not running the lines that they were running, and I'm seeing cars, get a little bit overdriven in the corners, and that rubs the goodie off of the tires. And once those tires get slick and greasy, they turn into a handful, especially on these tight corners.
Yeah, as you see Mark Dillon Jr. just coming through the hairpin right there, as McCombs running a bit wide there through that section, and that's let Michael Ogren back in to try and challenge for position now. Can Ogren try and capitalize on that mistake by McCombs? The answer is no. He's just going to file in right behind him. Takes a little peek, but nothing more than that.
No, he's now he's doing to McCombs what McCombs did to him, making McCombs drive out of that rearview mirror. But McCombs is focused more forward now, as they have really caught the back of Dillon through that set of corners.
That they have, and Dillon is right there coming through the old section of the course, through the old start-finish straight, and they come down towards Cops. Gets it wound down enough just so he can make it round there, and Dillon making a very smooth move around Cops, and that's brought him closer to the back of Dillon as they come through Maggots and Beckett's now. And Dillon looks like he might be having a few handling issues there, as he seems to not be able to turn that car in as well as that Porsche behind him.
No, it looks like he might be losing a little bit of the grip on the front tires. He goes to make those turns, it does not want to rotate that turn. So he might have burned it up, as McCombs goes ahead and makes the move, gets around him.
That he does, as now McCombs is up to P6, and Ogren going to follow him through as well. Yeah, Dylan really does have problems here, and that is a far cry from the epic performance we saw from him last week. Unfortunately, not having a good night so far tonight. He did go off track as well, as we're going to take a look back and see that again. And he went wide through Stowe, and I'm wondering if he might have had a slowdown from that, because it sometimes does give you a slowdown if you go too wide through that corner.
Yeah, that might be the case, because the way that he let those McCombs and Ogren get around him, that may have been the case. He's pushing really hard. He may want to think about taking a lap or two. Yeah, he is really pushing, trying to get back to the back of Ogren. He might want to take a lap or two to cool down his tires and his brakes to mount another charge.
Absolutely. As we are not really seeing any battles right now. Mathry is in a battle right now as he is looking to the back of Fernando de Oliveira. Actually, no, I apologize. That is the Fernando de Oliveira, but right behind him is the Corvette of Grant Yingling, who's trying to put a lap on him. And these
Grant
two
Yingling,
are their teammates, I think. Oh! Mathry's gone off! And he makes it back on track again. He got scared by his teammate there, I think.
Yeah, and that was the exact thing I was talking about, driving in your rearview mirror. He was looking in that rearview mirror at Yingling coming up on him where he needed to be, and got concerned that Yingling might get into the back of him under braking, and took his attention away from that corner entry. And you saw it. He just totally missed that corner and got it wide. Allows cars to go by.
While we're talking about that team, we've had another problem for Lane Fowler here in the other DRG car as he runs wide coming out of the hairpin section. Another big hit into the barrier for Lane Fowler, and more problems for the man in the number 6. It started so well for him in that Lamborghini, but it's all falling apart now for Lane Fowler.
Yeah, and like we said, it's not about being fast and push. It is all about consistency in endurance racing. And the guys that are running their consistent lines, they know attrition's going to take its toll. As the guys that have been running consistent, you're seeing them start to bubble to the top. Bryce Anderson in GTE and Carter McCollum in GT3 class.
And I do apologize, he didn't hit the barrier actually. He managed to keep it clean when he spun it, did Lane Fowler, so very lucky boy indeed. But there is Bryce Anderson leading the GTE class, leading the overall race here, as he's still pulling away from Stephen Thompson. Now the gap is 5.2 seconds between first and second overall and for class, as they are currently split by the man currently sitting in third place in the GT3 class. That is Tony Watson right now.
Tony Watson impressed me in GT3 last week at Canadian Tire, and he's making, to me, another impressive run in GT3 here at Silverstone. Slowly, below the radar, working his way up. He started way back in the pack, folks, and he has worked his way up. Lynn Kopp is the next one on his hit list, as we saw Carter McCollum just a little bit ago put a lap on Lane Fowler. Or Dave Ferreira, sorry.
Yeah, McCollum making his first start of the season here tonight in that Alpha Tauri Mercedes. Really putting on a show here tonight, really putting on a clinic, as he's really gotten away from Lynn Kopp. The gap 7.5 seconds between McCollum and Kopp now. Watson is 11 seconds back off Kopp, so a pretty sizable gap between those two. And between Watson and Osborne, the gap now 14 seconds between them. So GT3 all of a sudden has really spread out, as Lane Fowler now looking to get a position off Dave Ferreira.
Yeah, Dave Ferreira looks like he's pushed his car a little too hard and is just giving up the goodie on those tires. He'll be looking for maybe 4 fresh tires on a pit stop. We'll have to wait and see. As the charge is really happening now. Here goes Lane Fowler around him the hard way on the outside. Oh, that was a bold move, folks, for position.
Yep, Lane Fowler now moving up in position, trying the recovery starts here for the man in the number 6 position, currently sitting 10th in class, as he'll want to be making a bit more of a progression forward. We've only got 2 retirements so far. Jacob Falcon and Adam Smith both out of this race. I think Adam Smith is out now. He had a horrid start to the race, and yeah, he's out. So only 2 retirements so far here tonight.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a long season, and if your lap's down, keep running. Don't give up. Look at Kyle Payne out there making laps on the track. Look at Connor Daly out there, both in GTE class, laps down, making laps on the track. This is how you hone your craft. This is how you improve. This is how you learn. This is what this league's all about. It's for endurance for beginners. And with you, Sam, I'm in total agreement on the whole philosophy behind this league. And they're actually putting on a really good show here at Silverstone, which is really a technical track. Taking a look back up at the front, Bryce Anderson just picking him up, putting him down. Thompson McRoby looks like he's starting to close up a little bit of the gap on Thompson.
Yeah, I was just focusing on that myself. McRoby really has got that gap down to Thompson. The gap is now 1.6 seconds between the two. And not too far behind is Dennis Diaz. He's really closed in on these guys. And those two, McRoby and Diaz, who were in battles with Yingling before, now managed to break out an 11-second gap on the 97. So Yingling really dropping back, but thankfully he's got a 19-second lead over Grant McComb. So not going to be feeling too uncomfortable in that 5th place.
No, as Thompson and McRoby are now coming up on lap traffic, slower class cars, they're going to have to pick their way around, and that just could help McRoby, it could help Diaz, it could help Thompson. Depends on where they catch the lap traffic on this track, and it looks like McRoby has really closed the gap up on Thompson.
That he has, and Dave Ferrara didn't exactly make it easy for Thompson. That's why McRoby has been able to close up as they go through Maggots and Beckett's and down towards the hangar straight now, as we've... a big problem there for Thompson. He got it all wrong through Beckett's, and now look at McRoby now. He's managed to capitalize on that, get right in the back of Thompson, and now Thompson struggling for pace now, and McRoby will say thank you very much. That's 2nd place. I will take it away.
Yeah, and all it was is a little bit of a bobble. That's all it took for him to lose all that momentum, headed for that on that corner exit, headed for that long straight, and you just saw the overtake right there. McRoby getting around Thompson because he had the momentum, and now starting looks like he's going to try to leg it out ahead of him, but he's got lap traffic right in front of him holding him up.
Absolutely, as Thompson is not going to give it up that easily as they put a lap on Lane Kopp right now, and Thompson going to go around the outside of Kopp to try and stay with McRoby, as McRoby already getting out to a 1-second lead over Thompson. And with that being said, they've already pulled out a gap on Dennis Diaz. Dennis Diaz was closing in on these guys, but somehow and for some reason he's dropped about 3-4 seconds on these guys.
It could be that he's just pushing it really hard because he did have him right there in front of him, and he was pushing the car. And at this stage of the race, we're coming up on 43, 44 minutes to go. At this stage of the race, if you push too hard, you're going to scrub the goodie off those tires, and it's not going to handle as well as it did at the start. Cars are starting to have to have the driving styles changed just a bit to keep her on the track and make time.
Grant McComb's in pit road. He's the second driver of the GTs to make it down pit road. He's had to repair that little bit of damage on the front of his car from the contact he had with Michael Ogren. He is going to take a full butt of fuel, a fresh set of tyres, and be on his way as we go back to the battle between McRoby and Thompson right now. McRoby trying to get away. He's actually got the gap up to 2 seconds now between himself and Thompson. Thompson not able to stay with these guys as now Dennis Diaz is starting to close the gap on Thompson.
Yeah, that Corvette horsepower on the straightaways is starting to talk. It's got the motor to just the horsepower to pull it away, but Thompson's got the better handling car in the technical parts. So it's kind of that toss-up, man. What car fits your driving style? As we're seeing a classic battle going on between manufacturers.
That we are, as we've got a battle in GT3 between De Oliveira and Benjamin Mathra. Mathra is trying to make his way back up through the field. There is De Oliveira, and De Oliveira's got a bit of damage on his car, so not sure where he got that from, but he's now got the number 98 right behind him as they're coming around Dave Ferrara to put a lap on him. And will Ferrara make it easy for them? I don't know. He does make it easy for him. They get around him nicely. and this battle can continue.
This battle's just gotten really tight.
That it has. So that's the battle for 5th place in class as we go back to the my time and scoring is playing up with me tonight as Benjamin Thompson now. Stephen Thompson's still losing time to McRoby as there is Mathry still trying to get around De Oliveira, but there in that mix there is Mark Dillon Jr. and Dillon's still struggling for pace here. He's even struggling to stay with the GT3 cars at this point. It's actually the GT3 cars are going around and Mathry's off.
Oh, Mathry just getting it all wrong right there. Coming off of the corner. Go back and take a look just to see. Did he have help? Did he hit the curbing? Just brought that corner exit a little too wide, got it completely on the other side of the curbing, upset the rear suspension on the car, loose condition, spun it around, reset, get it back out there, do it again.
Yeah, that was exactly the same spot where his teammate went off a few laps ago, so not a very good spot for those Lamborghinis is that corner. As Mathry is now going to try and gain that time back to Oliveira. The gap now between those two is about 10 seconds. He's now got Sean Adkins in front of him, and Adkins has had his fair share of troubles here tonight in his Lamborghini, the Marines Lamborghini, as we've got Grant Yingling in pit road now.
Yingling bringing it pit side. Let's see how. Let's see what he does.
Yeah.
What kind of service are we going to see on the car?
Well, he looks like he might have a small bit of front end damage on that Corvette. Can't really tell. The shadows are a bit weird on it. We'll take a look now. And he does have front end damage. Yeah.
Yeah, he does have damage, and it looks like he is taking a fresh set of rubber on here as well. A boatload of fuel, fresh set of rubber. Little more than halfway through the race, would you say, Sam? And looks like he'll have the fuel to take us the rest of the way. But it looks like tires happen to be king here. We're going to have to find out post-race.
Yeah, problems for Michael Agron getting it all wrong through the final section of the track. Oh, not through the final section of the track, I apologize. Through the hairpin. No, through the old section of the track. I can't speak, I promise. It's a very well-known art, apparently, but I can do it.
We've had a busy week here at ESPN, folks, let me tell you.
Yeah, we have, and it's going to get even busier as we're going back to Grant Yingling. He's back out of pit road once again, and didn't lose too many spots. He still gets out well ahead of Brad McCombs, so that was a very good pit stop there for Grant Yingling as 28.98 seconds in his box and 1 minute and 9 seconds in pit lane altogether. So not too bad there for Grant Yingling as Hunter McRoby has now dropped Stephen Thompson, has now set his sights on trying to close that gap to Bryce Anderson, but the problem is that gap is a whole 7 seconds right now. Yeah,
but Grant Yingling taking that pit stop when he did in this race, is he going to have the advantage in time now over these cars, the leaders of Anderson, McRoby, Thompson, and Dennis Diaz, that with fresh tires will give him? What kind of handling difference is he going to have as he gets the temperature into those tires? Did the undercut happen to work? Or are we going to be seeing, since he made his move to pits, are we going to be seeing Anderson, McRoby, Thompson, and the Diaz make the same move?
Not really sure, but Paul Boyle is going to be the next one into pit road in the Peroni BMW. He is going to be in that, probably going to rejoin in that little section with Yingling, possibly. Probably not. I could be wrong, as Grant Yingling is actually back in pit road again. He might have a penalty here.
Or speeding on pit exit might give him the pass through. We'll have to see.
There might be a time penalty.
If he doesn't go to his box and he comes straight into the, back out on the track, he got a pass-through penalty. That'd be speeding on pit exit.
Well, we'll find out right now.
These cars do come equipped with pit limiters. No, he brings it into his box.
And that's going to be a time penalty for Grant Yingling as we got a problem for Marcus Osborne. A big problem for Marcus Osborne. What's happened to him is he's got no front end left on that car. We're going to take a look right now. And oh, he just got it all wrong. And that is a horrid crash there for Marcus Osborne. Let's take another look and see exactly what happened here. And it was coming onto the hangar straight. He just went straight on. That was a very strange incident there for the 7.
Yeah, he looked, he just couldn't get to the apex of the corner trying to get around a lap machine that looked like it might have had some issues. The lap machine might have had some issues, and that lap machine I'm talking about is Connor Daly. Connor Daly had a spin off track that put him in a position to where he had to go around him, and he missed the apex on that corner and drove it straight into the wall.
Taking a look and see what happened to Connor Daly right here, and it was there that it happened. Let's take a look and see.
And it was a bad spot that Connor Daly rejoined the track.
Oh yeah, there it is. And wow, that was a bad spot to rejoin the track from Connor Daly. So unfortunately that affected Marcus Osborne. And Osborne getting the worst of that one as we go back to Stephen Thompson now. He is trying desperately to close that gap to
Hunter McRoby.
Yeah, but the gap now 6 seconds between those two. Dennis Diaz, though, has closed that gap between himself and Thompson down to 2 seconds now. So a battle brewing right here, but Michael Ogren is one that is in a battle right now, and he's closing in on Paul Boyle. But Boyle has made his pit stop already. Ogren has not.
Yeah, so Boyle is actually well ahead of Ogren in the track then, because Ogren's going to have to go in to take that time. That is a heck of a little battle we got going on here.
Yeah, it is, as Boyle tried to really sneak it in there. Actually, that's Ogren tried to sneak it in there. Boyle just says, no, thank you, I won't have that, as they come down through this section. Now this left-hander onto the straight. Going to be very interesting to see if Ogren can get the speed there on those older tyres. Remember, Boyle does have fresh tyres underneath him, and you can see it right there. He's actually managed to pull away slightly on the straights, but Boyle so much faster through the corners there under braking.
Yeah, the fresh tires, you're looking at fresh tires talking right there, as he's just looking for a way to get around them, but he's going to have to come into pits. Those old tires are going to have to come to pit for fuel anyway. And don't look now, but right behind him is the race leader, Bryce Anderson.
No, he's not. Oh, he's miles away. He's not that far close. He's not that close.
Yeah, he's still going to have to come to pit as well. I was just checking his time, his lap times. He's still turning 156s on this track.
Yeah, we're going back to this battle between Boyle and Ogren. Now, I am actually surprised that Ogren is able to put Boyle under this much pressure as they come down the straight. Now, as here comes Ogren to the inside towards Stowe Corner. And can Ogren take it away from him? Boyle still battling hard, though. And Boyle still able to hold on. Great defensive driving there by the man in the 17 BMW.
Yeah, he's putting on a driver's clinic right now. He's showing Ogren how to get it done. And Ogren is just got to be wondering, what have I got to do to make this guy make a mistake so I can get around him? As Boyle is just running beautiful racing lines around this track.
That he is, as Ogren going to dive in that big dive. He's going to lick the stamp and send it, and he gets that position away from Boyle. Big move there by Ogren. Boyle's not going to be happy with that one, I'm sure.
Oh, no, he was in full send-it mode. You see him lock up the tire. Looked like he locked up that right front tire there just a tiny bit. But he did get him under braking. Fresh tires were talking right there. That was a bold and aggressive move. Real aggressive move to pull off here in endurance racing. My hat's off to him, man. That was a move of the race I've seen so far.
Yeah, we're going to go back and take another look at that from the dynamic cam. If there's a dynamic cam to check. Then look at that send there. Boyle just didn't even see him coming as I'm pretty sure Marcus Osborne was very happy to see that pass happen right behind him.
Wow, that was such an aggressive move, and he stuck it. That's the thing between fresh tires and old tires. Fresh tires, you can stick a move like that. If you did that with an older set of tires, that would have been 2 cars on the back of the tow truck heading for the pit lane.
Yeah, so Ogren getting away from those guys as we're looking at Bryce Anderson now, and Anderson's made a pit stop while we were talking there, Byron. He's been in pit road.
Okay, then Anderson working his outlap. He's doing what what endurance racers like to do. They want to leg it out as far as they can. They're going to find where the bottom of that fuel tank is. That way they get the freshest tires to make the run to the end, and they don't even have to take a full load of fuel. They can save time on the fuel stop.
Yeah, and that leaves Hunter McRoby as your lead, and the question is, how long will McRoby leave it before he brings it to pit road? He's not going to bring it this time. Obviously, he's just come out the final corner and starts a new lap now. We are approximately... we're not quite halfway through the race, but we're getting there. Well, I think we are halfway through the race, aren't we?
Oh, we are way past halfway by my timing. We've got about 25, a little over 25 minutes left in this race.
Oh yeah, well, it's 40 minutes. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. But anyway, we are 51 minutes into this race out of 1 hour and 20 seconds, and that is your race leader right there, Hunter McRoby. Stephen Thompson is in second. Dennis Diaz right now is in third place. Fourth place right now, after making his pit stop, is Bryce Anderson. P5 is Mark Dillon Jr., who's just not had the pace so far this evening, unfortunately. Colin Tabor currently sitting in P6. Jesse Brannon in P7. Brad McCombs after his pit stop in P8. 9th is Michael Ogren. 10th is Paul Boyle. And 11th in class is Grant Yingling, as Kyle Payne, I believe, is in pit road again. Yes, he is. Actually, I think that's the first time he's been in pit road tonight, so not too bad going for Payne.
No, and I'm just taking a look at the timing on this thing. Bryce Anderson, he's got a 30-plus second deficit to our leader, Hunter McRoby, but Hunter has yet to bring it into pit lane. And to bring it into pit, top it off with fuel, get some tires, it's going to take longer than 33 seconds.
Lynn Kopp just coming out of pit road right there after making his pit stop, as he's just come out just ahead of, I believe, that was it McCollman? Wasn't McCollman, because McCollman is way out in front right now. Tony Watson right there, but I just wanted to see where Lynn Kopp came out of pit road. It was next to Jesse Brennan and Jesse Brannon and
Brad Holmes.
That's the one. My brain's not working tonight. But yeah, Lynn Kopp's still in second place after all that, though, as Watson has not been in pit road. Mathry is in pit road. De Oliveira is in pit road. So we've got wholesale pit stops going on in GT3 right now, as Oliveira making his way out of pit road. Yingling is back in pit road again. He's had more issues there, and he's out.
Oh, Yingling putting it on the hauler, calling it a night. His night coming to an end here at Silverstone. It looks like if Kyle Payne stays on the track, Kyle Payne and Connor Daly can overtake him in position, as Yingling is scored in 11th right now.
Yeah, as we got Dennis Diaz on pit road as well. We have the leader in GT3 on pit road as well. Carter McCollman is in pit road as well. So we got pit stops happening all over the place right now. Dennis Diaz is in from 4th place, dropped to 5th place now after Dylan has gone around him. So as Diaz will get it going once again. No, he's just put the tyres on. He's going to have to put the fuel in now, as McCollman now makes his way out of pit road.
Yeah, McCollman, I didn't catch if McCollman was took tires or not.
He did.
I can go back and take a look.
He did. As McCollman out of pit road right now.
It does look like tires are the order of the day for Silverstone, as opposed to Canadian Tire, where they ran the full race on the original set.
We just had a problem for Dennis Diaz there on the exit of pit road. Let's take a look and see what happened to him. As cold tyres, not being his best friend right now as he spins it on the right-hander just before the hairpin. So Diaz not using those cold tyres effectively and just looping it around as he now has Brad McCombs right behind him.
Yeah, it's cold tires. When we talk about cold tires, when you make your pit stop and you take a set of tires here at road racing, there is a huge temperature difference between a fresh set of tires and a set of tires that's been on the car for now coming up on 30 laps of racing. It's the tires don't want to grip. They don't want to handle until those pressures come up, until those temperatures come up. And you just saw classic cold tires. What can happen if you just push it too hard?
Sorry to cut you off there, Byron, but McCroby and Thompson have just been in pit road. They are making their way out of pit road right now as Bryce Anderson will retake the lead right here. But this gap is slightly smaller than it was before. The gap is of just under 6 seconds now. So McCroby through the pit stops able to gain at least a second out of that one.
Yeah, and believe it or not, how you place your car in your pits dictates how fast that pit stop's going to be. If you pit, in your box perfectly, you're going to get the fastest stop possible with your crew. You pit outside of your marks just a bit, it's going to take them longer to get to your car to do what they need to do. And Thompson making a faster stop. McRoby out in the lead. We might see a pretty good race for this.
McRoby's in second place. After making his pit stop, Anderson is in the leader. Thompson in third, Diaz in fourth, McCombs in fifth, Brandon in sixth now. Dylan after his pit, Dylan who's just come out of pit road right now, as he just got rear-ended by Lynn Cobb. That's a big incident there. Wow.
Oh, go.
We caught that just at the right time. We're going to take a look at the dynamic cam on that one. And I think it was Dylan that just broke a bit too early and Cobb just had nowhere to go.
No, Cobb didn't think that Dylan was going to get on the binders as quick as he did. But Dylan, like you said, had just come out of pit road. He's working on cold tires, and that's something you got to be aware of. Who's out there on colder tires after you've been out there running a bit? And you've seen the difference between old tires and new tires when we saw that move for that pass where he, where he just sent it.
Yeah, he did.
The grip level is way.
And already Dylan is trying to put that lap back on Lane Cobb now, as Cobb, I think, is probably just going to say, sorry for that, I'm just going to let you by now.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't hold a grudge. Please, here, take the line.
Yeah.
I got my eyes on it. I've got my eyes on this because if there's ever going to be a payback situation, this might be the time for it. Nope, as Cobb does go ahead and move over and yields the racing line to him.
Well, yeah, two different classes. I mean, Dylan was going to make his way around him eventually, but Cobb probably feeling a little bit bad for that incident. But to be fair, though...
Cobb's here. Let me make it easy for you.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, it was Dylan breaking a bit too early and catching out Cobb that caused that, so can't really blame Cobb too much for it, as Jesse Brannon now making his way into pit road. And did you take a look at that paint scheme on Brannon's car?
Yes, I did, and I'm still rubbing my eyes on it.
Yeah.
It's a great paint scheme, though. Like I said, I am really impressed with the amount of effort that this league has went to putting into their liveries on these cars. I've seen some great paint schemes on these things. Can't wait to see, the differing paint schemes as we progress through the season.
Just had an issue for Sean Adkins there going through Maggott and Beckett. Unfortunately, going off of track. I probably think he got scared off track there by Hunter McRoby. Just taking a bit off track there and gets it going once again, but he comes out just ahead of Nürnberger, who I actually think now is ahead of Sean Adkins. And that is exactly the case. Nürnberger and Adkins have swapped positions there because of that incident. So Atkins losing out there. Fernando de Oliveira is now closing in on Sean Atkins. And you can see that shiny new car on de Oliveira. He's had that damage fixed on the front of that Mercedes.
Yeah, they do have one fast repair in this league, folks. What we talk about a fast repair is when you pick up damage, like we see a car sitting in pit lane with no front end on it, this is a simulation, and they're going to simulate doing repairs or replacing the bodywork on that they can do on these GT3 and GTE class cars. Oh, we got an off track there.
Yeah, it's Zachary Nürnberger who's had an incident there coming out of the hairpin, and it's through that left hand. It might have caught out another Lamborghini here, and it has. It got too much curb, went too far left. Thankfully didn't hit anything, but again, another Lamborghini being caught out by that bump there on that left-hander.
Yeah, how many times have we seen Lamborghinis get it off of the curbing and get that suspension upset to where it just does not want to hold the rear end, and they come right flying around?
Yeah, and that's Nürnberger giving up his fourth place to Atkins and Oliveira, unfortunately having to concede defeat right there, as he's going to have to try and make that time up somehow. He's got about 20 minutes, or less than 20 minutes now to get it done. As we go back to the leader right now, and Bryce Anderson was pretty much gifted a win last week, and he's having it all his own way this time, being very dominant out there on track in that Porsche.
Well, like you said, he was gifted the win last week, but he's showing them that he's earning it this week. Putting on a great show. He's a class driver. Can't wait to talk to him if he makes it to the end, because you know what? We thought Stephen Thompson was going to take Canadian Tire trophy home with him, but what happened? An issue happened to be a connection issue. We thought other drivers were going to be up there on the podium to be talking to him. What happened? Endurance racing, that's what happened. Incidents on the track. We shuffled the leaderboard. This thing, it might be less than 20 minutes to go till the checkers fly, but it's far from over.
Absolutely. We've had retirements already here tonight. We've had Jacob Falcom, Adam Smith and Grant Yingling put it on the hauler so far tonight. As far as attrition goes, with how long this race is, Byron, not too shabby. We've only had 3 retirements, both of them, 2 of the 3 being GTEs. Not too shabby at all.
No, not shabby at all. And you know what? And my hat's off to Kyle Payne out there in the 68 machine turning laps. He wasn't the fastest car. In fact, he was, he was out there running slower than the GT3 class in practice, and he's been, running slower laps than everyone else out there. But you know what? The guy is not giving up. The guy is showing class. He's yielded the racing line to the faster cars. He's out there gaining that experience. But you know what? He's moved ahead of Grant Yingling in the finishing order because Grant Yingling's retirement. Connor Daly, we've seen him have his issues out there. He's in the 28 machine. Has he gotten frustrated and put it on the hauler? No. He is out there still turning laps. He's, due to the Grant Yingling retirement, picked up another position towards the season points. And that shows you the character of the drivers in this league. My hat's off to them, that they're just not being frustrated saying, hell with this, I'm not going to do it no more. I got no chance. I'm way laps down. Slower classes are ahead of me. Blah, blah, blah. How many times have we seen that in iRacing, Sam?
Quite a lot. Unfortunately, Carl Payne goes off again, unfortunately. He's had a bit of a tough night tonight, as we're going to go to a battle between Michael Ogren and Paul Boyle. Boyle's actually got ahead of Ogren again after, I believe Ogren, I don't think he's made his pit stop yet, has he? Still hasn't made his pit stop yet.
I don't know. You've got the big time timing and scoring up. I don't. But I can't imagine that he's out there 32 laps without a pit stop yet.
Apparently he pitted on lap 20, so maybe he has been in pit road. We just missed it. So
Dylan doing his best to catch the back of Ogren, who's doing his best to catch the back of Boyle. We may have a 3-way dance for the 6th position here shortly.
Yeah, I think Boyle might have the fresher tyres out of the 3, so he's doing okay to stay ahead of those 2. They're way off the pace of Brad McCombs, though, who himself is about 6 seconds off of Dennis Diaz. And Dennis Diaz is 42 seconds, and yeah, I said that right, 42 seconds off the back of Stephen Thompson right now.
Yeah, Stephen Thompson, he's doing everything he can to catch to the back of McRoby, and he just keeps losing that time. But McRoby am my eyes deceiving me, or is McRoby starting to reel in Bryce Anderson just a tad?
He's taken almost 2 seconds off the back of Anderson, and I wonder if that's because Anderson's having to deal with lap traffic. The answer is no. He's got a clear track in front of him pretty much. He's already put another lap on Marcus Anderson, as Marcus Osborne, as now McRoby will be the next one to put a lap on Osborne, as we've had another incident now for Dave Ferrara. Go back and take a look and see what happened to him right there. Is he coming through the right-hander, the right-hander into the very tight left-hand hairpin in the new section of the course, and just got on the curbs and it just looped around him. The only Ferrari in the field struggling here tonight as he gets going. But yeah, McRoby, going back to McRoby, he's got almost 2 seconds off of Bryce Anderson right there.
Yeah, I thought it was, I didn't know if that was an optical illusion, but track position's getting a little shorter, a little less real estate between these two, as I don't know if it's so much as Bryce Anderson is running a slower laps as McRoby's running faster. McRoby's last lap, a 156.7, to the last lap of Anderson, a 157.3, almost a second faster for McRoby.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if McRoby can keep closing that gap in the less than 14 minutes he's got left in this race. I mean, 5 seconds in 14 minutes is pretty much an uphill task, but he's going to try it anyway. Dennis Diaz is running a pretty well himself. He's running in P4 right now, and had to pull off the recovery of a lifetime to finish in the top 5 last week, and he's doing it. He didn't have to do so much of a recovery this time as he runs wide, and yeah, he just almost made a liar out of me right there as he's
announcer's curse, folks. It's called the announcer's curse.
Yeah, it's called that for a reason as he comes through the old start-finish section down towards Cops. He's 42 seconds off of Stephen Thompson, but 5 seconds ahead of Brad McCombs, and McCombs has pretty much fallen off the boil since the pit stops here, and unfortunately not able to keep up with the top 4. He's a decent way ahead of Paul Boyle, who's now under massive pressure from Michael Ogren, and we're just going to go to this battle right now as Ogren takes a look going into Cops right here. And Ogren, will he try that aggressive move he tried a few laps ago? We'll find out in just a second.
I don't think he's got
that Lamborghini not making it easy for the 2 BMWs right there. I believe that's Mathry. No, it's not Mathry, as Mathry goes off. That is actually Lane Fowler's not making it easy for the BMWs.
No, but I don't think that Boyle's got, I don't think you saw that dive earlier that we showed you. I don't think he's got the tires and the brakes to be able to do it this late in the race.
We'll soon find out as we go back to see what happened to Benjamin Mathry as they comes through Maggots Beckett, and that's exactly what happened to him. He got it all wrong and speared straight into the tyre wall, and that is a bad night continuing for Mathry, as we got another incident as well for Colin Tabor as he's coming down the straight towards the old section of the track, and he's just going to loop it around, and not a happy time there for the man in the 14 in P9 right now as we go back to this battle between Boyle and Ogren.
Boyle just had himself a real wiggle moment, almost lost the rear end going around the corner, and allowed Ogren to get right up on the tail of him. As Ogren's got the momentum, he makes the move to see if he can do that dive bomb move. He's to the inside. He's got the line on it, but he just doesn't have the momentum as he gets a little tail happy getting on the throttle too soon.
Yeah, coming through the old section right now as they come down towards Cops, and Boyle still able to stay ahead, about 0.4 of a second, the gap between these two. This is the closest battle out on track right now as McRoby has got that gap down to almost less than 4 seconds, so we'll go back to that in just a second and see if McRoby can keep closing that gap down to Bryce Anderson. But this is your closest battle for P6 right now between Paul Boyle and Michael Ogren. Ogren actually starting to fade back ever so slightly, but Ogren taking a much deeper line through the Maggots and Beckett section of the track and down to the hangar straight. Now Boyle going to have to defend here as Ogren going to go to the inside line towards Stowe. Is he going to dive it in there like he did before? He is, as Boyle runs wide. Boyle locks up and goes wide, and that's giving the position to Michael Ogren right there.
Yeah, Boyle just not able to get down to the line that he wanted to get through that corner because Ogden, he took that corner away from him. He took the line that the other driver wanted to run, and it caused him to miss his braking point, send it wide, and now we're starting to see Boyle pull away.
And this is another look at the pass from Ogren. We saw Boyle just locking up there and running wide, and that easily gave the position to the man in the number 20 BMW. My speech problems continuing as we've got a battle for
sorry, go ahead.
We've got a problem. We've got a battle here between Oliveira and Sean Adkins here, Byron.
Atkins getting up to the back of De Oliveira. De Oliveira on the straightaway, legging it out, opening it up, but Atkins catching him under braking. But what I was going to say, though, is, they may call this league endurance for beginners, but the way that you saw Ogren and Boyle racing each other was far from beginners. That was some of the best racing on a road course in a GT style racing that I have seen in a long time. Hats off to those two.
Yeah, as we saw Ogren just stretching his lead out to about a second there over Boyle already, as we go back to this battle between De Oliveira and Sean Adkins for that 4th spot in GT3. Oliveira keep just maintaining the gap between himself and Adkins about to be lapped by Dennis Diaz right now, so Adkins has got that to deal with before he can try and mount a challenge on De Oliveira, as Diaz going to look to the inside and just sail on by.
Yeah, he's got the power. He's got the horsepower in the car to get around him on the straightaway, but now he's got to get around De Oliveira. He's got to get around De Oliveira, and is he going to be able to get around him as quick and easy? Is De Oliveira gonna not want to lose, track pace by letting him go too easy? Kind of closed the door on him there.
Yeah, and Diaz will not be happy about that one, as he's going to try and sail around the inside, and I'm pretty sure he's going to say some things to him as he sails on by, as De Oliveira goes through the old section of the track. And look who's right behind him again, Sean Adkins, resuming battle once again between these two.
So not only can a car get held up by trying to get around a slower class car, that slower class car can be held up by allowing a faster class car to get around. You saw De Oliveira was not able to run the line that he wanted through the corner, and Sean Adkins was able to get right up to him as De Oliveira takes it wide over that corner and loses a little bit of pace. Adkins doing everything he can to push to get to him.
Yeah, and going through Maggots and Beckett's once again, and Brad McCombs now going to be the next one to try and put a lap on him, as he is trying to catch Dennis Diaz. Now the gap between Diaz and McCombs has come down to 4.5 seconds, so McCombs has taken about a second out of Diaz. That's probably because of Diaz trying to get around these guys, but there goes McCombs now in the Lightning McQueen Porsche, just getting around Adkins. Now going to be looking to the back of De Oliveira as they come to the final section of corners. But with less than 7 minutes to go, it's looking very academic now to see who's going to win this one.
Well, oh, wow. You see De Oliveira did not make it easy. Oh, my gosh. De Oliveira not making it easy on the faster class cars. There might be some, hard feelings about that, because McCombs is wanting to get up there and do all he can to close down to get another position on Dennis Diaz.
Yeah, and right behind him now is Sean Adkins. Now Adkins on the attack of De Oliveira because of that incident. And now we're going to see if Adkins can do anything about it. He still can't really close that gap all the way on De Oliveira as they come down the straight. Might have the straight line speed on the Mercedes, but just can't seem to get around him. As in the distance, you see in the background there, Zachary Nürnberger is starting to close the gap on these two as well.
Yes, he is. As these two battle and work through traffic, or traffic work through them, it's allowed Nürnberger to catch up, and he's got visions of it. Don't know if he's got enough time to get up there and make it an issue, but he's sure as heck going to give it a shot.
5 minutes left to go in this race now. We've ticked over the 1 minute 15 mark in this one, and it's going to be Bryce Anderson who's still has actually managed to extend his gap again. He's responding now. The gap was 4.1 seconds a couple of laps ago. The gap now 4.6 seconds between Anderson and McRoby. As you see, McRoby just coming out of that left-hander. The battle in GT3 is pretty much academic right now. The gap between McCollum and Kopp is 30.4 seconds. So McCollum just needs to keep it on the black stuff, and he's got a victory in his first race in this league.
Yes, he does. As that battle between Atkins and Oliveira is starting to heat up again.
That it is, and we're going to go to that right now. As there's De Oliveira, there is Atkins as they're coming through to complete another lap here, and it's going to be Atkins just still can't he still can't seem to close that gap to Oliveira. He gets close, but unfortunately Oliveira seems to have the legs over him when it comes to well, mainly around the corners. Actually, he seems to lose pace.
Well, yeah, De Oliveira loses pace in the corners. The Atkins car is really nimble under braking, but De Oliveira has got the straight line speed and the power of that Mercedes. Just talking when they get to the straights on this thing, that's when he opens it up. But when they get under braking, Atkins has got way more performance in the technical tight part of the track.
Yeah, as you see in the distance right there, Nürnberger still closing the gap, but he's running out of time as we're looking at the battle between Ogren and Boyle still going on. Actually, Boyle is actually trying to close the gap again. The gap between those two, 1.3 seconds. Boyle's going to have to really throw something at it to try and close that gap again, as he's turning those corners quite aggressively to try and close the gap, but not working out for him so far, as Timothy Emanuele has another off here. We're going to take another look and see what happened to him right here. Oh, right in front of Dave Ferrara. And that was a Code Brown moment for Ferrara.
Yeah, new underwear to the Ferrara pit, please. New underwear to the Ferrara pit.
Absolutely, as less than 3 minutes to go now. And this man right here looking for his second race win in a row. And he's looking good for it so far. He's still extending that gap over McRoby, so he's got some, he's still got a little bit of pace left in that Porsche.
Yeah, Bryce, he turned a 157.005 last lap, but Hunter McRoby ran a faster lap, but not by much, only 0.2 of a second faster. 0.2 of a second per lap with this little bit of time left in it is not going to get the job done. Bryce Anderson was gifted the win at Canadian Tire last week, but he's showing everyone today there's no gifts about it. They say when opportunity knocks, you need to answer the door. Bryce Anderson said the heck with that. He went to opportunity's door, kicked it in, and introduced himself.
Yeah, he's been fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. He's looking for the Triple Crown here tonight, as McRoby making a good race of it, though. He's still keeping Anderson within a sight distance at least, but not quite close enough, as we have a minute and a half left in this race before the white plus the white flag. So Anderson, the leader, McRoby second, Thompson in a very lonely third place. He's 22 seconds off the back of McRoby, 35 seconds ahead of Diaz. McCombs is on
Thompson out on an island right now.
Yeah, Diaz out on an island as well. He's got a 9-second gap over McCombs. McCombs had an off track a while back, but this battle between Ogren and Boyle has really fizzled out, as Ogren makes a meal of it getting around De Oliveira. De Oliveira not making it easy for these GTE drivers at all.
De Oliveira hasn't made it easy on any driver trying to get around him tonight. He's driving like a man possessed, but he knows that all he has to do is make one little error, and Atkins will be all over him. But he's legged it out a bit more over Atkins. Atkins doing everything he can to catch up with him. And don't forget Nürburgring. He's out there trying to do his best too. But we're coming to what? One to go here?
Yeah, we are, as Anderson is going to come through Copse now. And he will take the white flag this time by as he comes towards Maggots and Beckett. It's a very controlled drive there for Anderson as McRoby starting to pick up the speed, but he might have left it a bit too late now. The gap is now 3.4 seconds between Anderson and McRoby. Not going to be enough, though, I don't think, because Anderson now going to make his way down the hanger straight, and he will get the white flag this time by as we have gone over the 1 hour and 20 minute mark.
Yep, 1 hour and 20 minutes plus 1 lap, ladies and gentlemen. White flag a fly in the air. Our leader, Bryce Anderson, he's been out in the front from the start of the race, through the whole race. The only time he lost the lead position was through pit cycles, but he picked it right back up again.
Oh no, is this actually the checkered flag this time by, I apologize, as Bryce Anderson is actually going to come out in the final turn, and Bryce Anderson will actually pick up the win here. Checkered flag is out. Bryce Anderson wins at Silverstone. Second across the line will be McRoby. Third, coming down towards the line, will be Stephen Thompson. I apologize, I didn't realize that was the white flag.
I thought they had one more to go myself.
Yeah,
we need to pay a little more attention to our clock.
Yeah, we do. As Thompson now crosses the line, he will get third place. He'll be very relieved about that one, getting on the podium in GT3. As McCollman has already crossed the line, he has won in GT3, and he's very happy about that one. Lynn Cobb will now cross the line. He'll get second place. Tony Watson in third. Fernando de Oliveira still just ahead. Ashley Atkins has fallen off, so he's probably given that up now. Oliveira will claim fourth. But a very good race, a very open race, but domination for both drivers in each class.
Yep. Hats off to Tony Watson, man. He inherited that one last week at Canadian Tire. Put on another strong showing tonight. Carter McCollman, boy, he just took that Mercedes and just put it in the breeze. The number 10 machine, the AlphaTauri paint scheme on it, as he's out there celebrating right now his victory in the GT3 class.
Absolutely, as we will get interviews with you soon. And we will speak to the top two in GTE and the top two in GT3. As that is your race winner in GT3 right there, Carter McCollman. Bryce Anderson, your winner in GTE. So we'll speak to Bryce Anderson, Hunter McRoby in GTE, and we will speak to Carter McCollman and Lynn Kopp in GT3. So with that being said, let's go straight to see if we can get an interview in with one of the drivers, and we are going to bring in the race winner. And we're going to bring down Bryce Anderson. And Byron, I believe you're with him right now.
Bryce Anderson, you put that car on the point in practice. You put that car on the point in qualifying, and you put it in the wind for the whole race. The only time I saw you lose the top spot was when you brought her to pit lane, but you reassumed that as everyone cycled through it. Talk to me about this run here at Silverstone.
Oh, stressful. Had some technical difficulties right before qualifying, so I got in with about 5 minutes to go, which gave me just enough time to get in my out lap and one hot lap, and luckily, on that one hot lap, I was able to just send it. Got a good lead on lap one, got a good start, and was just really fortunate in being able to hold it all the way through.
Yeah, you held it all the way through. I want to ask you a question about it. Canadian Tire, we saw you guys double stint those tires, just get fuel only. Looked like everyone took a fresh set of rubber here at Silverstone. What's the differences in the track between what we saw last week and what we saw this week?
So I didn't take tires. I had planned on it. I was going to at least take a front set of tires, but as soon as I hit the pits, I checked the tire tread levels and made a panic decision not to. Decided if I could coast, then I could make them last. Because if I took tires and someone else didn't take tires, then it would just be a big gamble, and I wasn't willing to gamble the lead like that.
Yeah, we saw Hunter McRoby trying to make a run on you there towards the end. And that's another question I wanted to ask. Were you just kind of laying back there watching your Delta, wait until he got within 4 seconds before you went back to pushing real hard? Or was that all you had there right at the end?
I was panicking for probably the last 20 minutes when he was within 6 seconds of me. I saw on the relative at one point he was, 11. And then 10, 9, I saw it counting down, and I just kept thinking, like this. I mean, I think another 15 minutes, I think he would have caught me for sure. I mean, not even. I think maybe 5. So I was pushing hard.
Yeah, you guys put on one heck of a show for us one more time tonight. Here at Silverstone, a classic circuit. Man, congratulations on the top spot in GTE, top spot overall. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I mean, you guys again for broadcasting us yet again. Really looking forward to next week, and want to give a shout out again to Mark for hosting this league. It's been really fun, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna have me a conversation with Mr. Mark here about Spa. You guys have really turned me on to wanting to get back into road racing. I'm gonna come off the road to maybe come and road race one with you. Man, you guys put on one heck of a show.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome to join us. Love to have more on the grid.
Right on. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your race winner, man. He's racking up points this season so far. 2 races in. Can't wait to see the rest of it, man. Congratulations on the podium. Your race winner, Bryce Anderson.
Thank you. Have a good night.
That was race winner Bryce Anderson. Now joining myself in the booth is the man that finished in second place in GTE, Hunter McRoby. And Hunter, making your first start of the season, bringing it on the podium. Got to be happy with how you kick things off this season.
Yeah, it was a great race. Obviously, I got into an incident at the start with Dennis, I believe, which I'm very sorry for. And I think it kind of screwed up both of our races. But overall, I was pretty happy with how I did.
Absolutely. And obviously, you missed the Canadian tire round, but you bring it to Silverstone, your first race of the season. Get it on the podium. So you got, despite the incident you had at the start, you've got to be happy with how you've started things off here. And with Le Mans coming up next week, you got to be looking to that track with a lot of confidence now.
Yeah, looking forward, I'm definitely going to put in a lot of practice. Hopefully, get on that top step eventually. But yeah, it was a great race. I mean, I love this track. It's perfect for these cars. Great battles all around, and overall, pretty good racing from everybody.
Absolutely. And with that in mind, the next track is Le Mans. I don't know how much experience you've got around there. What are your thoughts heading into that one?
I haven't driven around Le Mans much, but I think in the next week, I'm going to be putting in a lot of hours, a lot of laps. So hopefully I can pull something off there. We'll see. Absolutely.
And talk about your car right now. You had the Corvette, and people were arguing that the Corvette was probably one of the weaker cars around Silverstone because of the balance of power. Balance of performance? Sorry. What did you find in that Corvette compared to everybody else around there? Because it seemed like like I said, other people thought that the Corvette was weaker around here this week.
Yeah, I didn't practice much for this race, so I didn't get a chance to hop in each of the cars extensively. But I ended up running the Corvette just because it was the first car I hopped into when I first got on iRacing. So I have a lot of experience with it, and it didn't feel too bad. It was a little bit understeery, but overall, I think it was a pretty decent car around here.
All right, no problem at all. But anyway, before I let you go and celebrate your second place here tonight, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Reflex Sim Racing, the group of guys I race with, and also DirtFX Designs, who made this wonderful wrap for this car. You can check them out on Facebook.
All right, well, that's Hunter McRoby in the number 62 Corvette, coming up in second place in his first start of the season. Congratulations one more time, and we'll catch you next week when we head to Le Mans.
Thank you very much.
That was Hunter McRoby joining me in the booth. And now joining me in the booth is Carter McCollman. And Carter, winner at Silverstone in the GT3 category. You're making your first start of the season, really kicking things off in style here tonight. Very dominant win. Got to be happy with your performance here tonight.
Yeah, it was a great race. Some great battles at the start. Pretty happy with how it went, considering I didn't know how the long stint would go, hadn't tested it. So happy with how it went, yeah.
Absolutely, and it was close battling between yourself and Lynn Kopp for the first part, but after pretty much the midway part of the race, you really started to stretch your legs in that Mercedes. What did you find in that Mercedes compared to how Lynn Kopp was driving in the Lamborghini? Because you looked absolutely rapid round there today.
I think it was a combination of getting my confidence back at the start. I was a little out of sorts, a little stressed out. But over time, as the stint went on, it just got into my rhythm, got going. Was able to put in consistent low 202s, high 201s, and yeah, Lynn got very unlucky with traffic. So I was quite lucky the gap got so big, but in the end, yeah, it was great.
Absolutely, and with an eye on to Le Mans next week, we head there for the third round of the Endurance for Beginners series. What are your thoughts heading into that one? Very much a different animal compared to Silverstone.
Yes, very true. I'm hoping that my experience from last year's 24-hour Le Mans race brings me some good luck. I know that there's a curb I have to avoid because in that race I got floor damage that ruined the car. But yeah, it's a much different beast. Slipstream's going to be mega. It's going to be a very different race.
Absolutely. We always look forward to going to Le Mans, no matter what category it is. But before I let you go and celebrate your win there, Carter, anyone you want to give a shout out to who put that who helped put that car onto victory lane here tonight?
Oh, yes. First of all, I'd like to thank Mark Dillon Jr. for setting up this league. It's amazing that I'm able to run in this. I'd like to thank the sponsor of the league, H4SR, Tom Abramitis, I believe his name is. And lastly, I'd like to thank Drive for IBD, a charity that I'm driving for, who the owner or the founder of it, Daniel Swanbeck, has given me permission to run the name, and I'm happy to support that charity.
All right, well, Carter, congratulations on your win in your first start for this league. We definitely enjoyed watching you absolutely stomp the GT3 field here this week. Looking forward to seeing more of the same next week at Le Mans. Congratulations one more time, and we'll catch you when we head to France next week.
Thank you very much.
That was Carter McCollum bringing it home the victory here in the GTE class. Now joining Byron in the booth is the second place finisher, Lynn Kopp in the Lamborghini.
Lynn Kopp, I watched you in practice. I watched you in qualifying. You posted the fastest time in practice. You blew them away in qualifying, but looked like traffic just wasn't your friend tonight. You came home on the podium, but you just couldn't quite catch up to the back of McCollum, man. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, it was exactly that. First of all, I'd like to thank my wife for allowing me to do all this fun and exciting iRacing. But yeah, Carter had great pace, and like you said, every time there was somebody that needed to get around me, I got at the wrong time. I was catching lap traffic at the wrong time, and I just could never really get into a rhythm. I couldn't find that pace that I had in practice and qualifying.
Yeah, Silverstone is a very technical, tough track. Talk to me about the way the car was handling. I looked at you guys when you ran Canadian Tire last week. A lot of guys didn't take tires. I looked at pretty much everyone took tires at their pit stop this week. Is that much of a difference between Canadian Tire and Silverstone?
Yeah, I didn't take tires tonight either. I just couldn't afford to give up that much track position to Tony. I saw that he was gaining quite steadily every lap. And I did a lot of practice, and I was probably losing about a second and a half a lap by not taking tires. And if I think I would have been closer to Carter or even in front of Carter, I probably would have taken at least front tires, because Silverstone just beats up your tires so bad, especially that left front.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of cars, especially in the GT3 class. One curb Well, you got off of that curb with all 4 tires. The suspension got so upset, mostly the Lamborghinis, but it just spun them around. Were you finding any issues on the track where you had to stay within the limits, or could you actually push as hard as you wanted to?
It was actually turns 3 and 4 that I was having a hard time with. I had no front end for whatever reason on those. The rest of the track, the Lamborghini was great. I could push and push and push, and it would stick all day long. Just I said turns 3 and 4 got me every time tonight.
Yeah, tough technical thing, man. Your thoughts moving forward to round 3 at Le Mans, completely different track. Slipstream's going to be an issue there. Heading for the 2 bus stops we have in that thing and some tight S turns. What's your feelings going into that one?
Well, I did the Lamborghini there. We had a test race there, and it held up pretty good. I think I finished 4th in that. So I'm really excited to do it. I like Le Mans. It's going to be a night race, so it should be really fun for everybody to watch. And a lot of strip slimming, a lot of passing, so you get a lot more of that multi-class issues going on there because those other cars are just so much faster.
Yeah, well, you guys put on a great show tonight, man. My hat's off to all of you. We saw some great racing all the way around the track. Congratulations on taking the second place podium position in the GT3 class. Anyone you want to shout out to before we let you roll?
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to shout out to my wife and family for all their support in doing this. Big shout out to Mark Dillon over there at Pony Express Racing for putting this on, and the guys at H4SR for their support and keeping this going. Appreciate it to everybody and all the people that came out to watch, and you guys especially for broadcasting for us so we can get this out to the public and everybody can enjoy a good night.
Oh, we enjoy it. I love, I was sold when I watched you guys at Canadian Tire. I couldn't get enough of it, and I can't wait for Le Mans next week.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be exciting to be there. Hopefully I'll get to talk to you guys again next week.
Yeah, hopefully, man. We'll top 2 positions. You maybe look for that top step on that GT3 class. We'll be rooting for you. That's your second place finisher in GT3, everyone. Lynn Kopp putting in a great performance tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
That was the top 2 in the race here tonight, and definitely well-deserved finishes for our top 2 in each category, and well done to everybody for making it to the end as well. Very well-deserved there. Byron, your thoughts on the race there tonight?
We saw some great racing around the track. The classes, they were all stuck together in the opening stages, and then it started to string out a bit. But, oh, my God, the passing that we saw between Michael Ogden and Paul Boyle when they were racing against each other, that dive bomb move in the corner and the other dive bomb, those guys, the way they raced each other, I usually look for an ESPN driver of the night, and you could flip a coin between the 2 of them. Is there any way we could split that award in half and hand one to Ogden and one to Boyle? That was great racing.
Yeah, they put on probably the best battle of the night between Ogren and Boyle. Fantastic racing between those two, but fantastic racing between everybody in the field. Very well worth a watch. If you're just joining us, you missed a fantastic race here tonight, and this will be up on YouTube and up on Facebook, where we are also broadcasting. Definitely worth going back and taking a look. Big thanks to the league sponsors here for SR. That's H4SR. They are the sponsors of the league. Make sure you check those guys out. They offer free training for any new drivers looking to get into racing here on the iRacing service. But for that, let's go to the results for tonight's race and bringing home the victory in the GTE class. Let's go to the... There we go. And let's go to the results in the GTE class, and bringing home the win in GTE for the second time in a row was Bryce Anderson. Coming home in second place was Hunter McRoby. Third in this one was Stephen Thompson, and very relieved to finally get a decent finish under his belt after disaster last week at Canadian Tire. Fourth going to Dennis Diaz, and running out the top 5 was Brad McCombs in the Lightning McQueen number 23. Michael Ogren and Paul Boyle having a fantastic battle all night long, finished 6th and 7th respectively. 8th going to Mark Dillon Jr., 9th going to Colin Tabor, Jesse Brannan running out your top 10, Connor Daly in P11, Kyle Payne in P12, Grant Yingling and Jacob Falcon putting it on the hauler in 13th and 14th, Byron.
Yep, in your GT3 class, your winner, Carter McColeman, man, he put one heck of a show on there. Once he got that car out in the wind, it was just bad luck for Lynn Kopp, getting caught, as you heard from him say, wrong places all over the track when came to traffic. Lynn Kopp, your second place finisher. Tony Watson, another fine performance out of the 904 machine, bringing it home on the third position. Fernando de Oliveira and Sean Adkins are your fourth and fifth place machines, and what a battle we saw with those guys at the late stages of the race. Sean Adkins trying to mount that charge. Fernando de Oliveira not making it easy for any car to get around him. Zachary Nürnberger bringing it home, sixth. Lane Fowler, Benjamin Mathery. Gosh, you know, my heart goes out to the guy. He raced his heart out, had some issues, still battled back and brought it home. Marcus Osborne right behind him. Dave Ferreira, another guy, having a few issues, but he still managed to finish it on the track. Timothy Emmanuel and Adam J. Smith rounding out your field.
And that was your results for tonight's race, and that is going to do it for us here on ESPN. Make sure you check out all the broadcasts coming up on your screens very soon. But for now, that's going to do it for me and Byron. Congratulations to all our competitors here, and most of all, congratulations to Bryce Anderson and Carter McColeman for bringing home the win in their respective categories. We're going to get out of here, so with that being said, all that's left for me to say is keep it clean, keep it green, and we will catch you tomorrow night live for some dirt action with DOB. Have a good night.